right. Have you recovered from all the conversation and the emotion and the highs of that India-Pakistan game on Sunday night? Well, if you have, then there's nothing better than Diwali to wake up to. This is Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. It's time to say very happy Diwali to all our viewers. If you are celebrating, to Anil Kumble in our studios. I think Diwali can only
to everyone, to you, Raunak, and to everyone out there. Yeah, last night was brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, it was a perfect game of cricket. Till the last ball, till the 40th over, you didn't know which way the game would swing, and as an Indian fan, you would hope that yes, things would come off. And how did it come off? I mean, brilliant win. Virat, Hardik was brilliant with the ball and with the bat. It was brilliant stuff from India.
I mean, we couldn't believe the mayhem that was going on. Niall O'Brien, could you, in the United Kingdom, different part of the world, I'm sure everyone would have glued in at some point in that game towards the end of it to just go, what's going on?
The way the game started with Arshdeep with his swing, and then, Pakistan totally on top, dominating the game. I thought the game was done and dusted. And Virat, well, it just shows what a champion player he is. He's kind of said it's one of his best, if not best, T20 knock, and it was brilliant to watch. It's a great win, a great game for the tournament. And, sometimes those big games, we build them up so much. There's so much hype and hysteria around those games, whether it be India, Pakistan, or the Ashes. And sometimes they don't always live up to the hype. But yes, they certainly did.
Yeah, well, it's probably the game the tournament needed as well early on. Just sets things up, level of interest just comes in, because on the opening day of the Super 12s, while Australia and New Zealand was a grandstand fixture, it ended up being quite a lopsided contest. England, Afghanistan too was relatively easy for England. Then Sri Lanka, Ireland, very easy for Sri Lanka. So it's nice that you get this kind of game. It almost gets our juices going for a big ICC tournament.
I
Anil?
think now people realize the World Cup has started.
Yeah.
India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand was a big game as well, which New Zealand sort of cantered home.
Yeah.
Yes, this is something that was very special. I think the 90,000 plus crowd at MCG added to all the drama yesterday, and it was a brilliant show of awareness as well, cricketing awareness. I mean, that free hit which hit the stumps, and then they had the awareness to sort of take that three, DK and Virat. I think all in all, very interesting game and a perfect cricket match to begin.
Yeah. Now, can the rest of the games that follow, at least in the immediate aftermath of India-Pakistan, live up to at least the entertainment, the drama? Of course, you can't live up to the stakes of an India-Pakistan game at the MCG, but Bangladesh do not like to consider themselves as little brothers to India and Pakistan, or the lesser team in Asia. They're a very proud side, but don't necessarily boast of a proud record in this format or in this tournament. It's been 15 years since they've won an ICC Men's T20 World Cup Super 12 fixture. So something that's sort of bothering Bangladesh. Up against them are a Netherlands side that we can count on to take the game close, Niall, because that's how they went about their business in round one. They deservedly have gotten here, albeit they needed a little bit of help from the UAE. Here they are now up against a Bangladesh side, which you said yesterday on our show in the preview to this game that this is not necessarily going to be the easiest fixture for Bangladesh.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough game for Bangladesh. I really do. They're coming off a series in New Zealand where they had some highs, but didn't play particularly well overall. And the Netherlands have been playing good cricket, solid cricket, workmanlike cricket. They're being coached by Ryan Cook now. He's one of Gary Kirsten's kind of main coaches at the Gary Kirsten Academy. He's roped in Gary. It's Ryan Campbell's swan song before he departs. So there's a little bit of momentum with the Netherlands, and there's a little bit of, I think they want to send Ryan Campbell off, who's done a good job for Netherlands cricket. They want to send him off with a bang. So they're very disciplined, Netherlands, with ball, field, bat in hand. They've got nobody who's going to bowl 90 mile an hour, unless maybe Brandon Glover plays who can bowl pace, but they've got no real out-and-out stars, you would say, that's going to take a game away from any opposition. But they've got 11 guys that when they take the field, as an opposition, you're in for a real scrap. They take the game deep, and they bat well and they feel well, and they've got a good bowling attack, a varied bowling attack. So they've got most bases covered. And yeah, I think they've got a good shout today, Netherlands.
On the other hand, Bangladesh, right? What are the expectations around Bangladesh? If they have a slip up like this, Anil, if they lose to the Netherlands, this is the kind of thing that sets them back again for a proud nation otherwise.
Oh yes, I think the following in Bangladesh is probably as equivalent to India and the following that the subcontinent teams have, and the passion that the fans have on the game itself is fantastic. It's been disappointing, to see Bangladesh the way they have come around since their introduction to international cricket. It's been over 20 years, but yet they don't have too many wins to sort of boast about, especially outside of Bangladesh. You look at the other subcontinent teams, even Afghanistan, has certainly done a lot more in the short span that they have been a part of international cricket. So in that sense, Bangladesh, it's been disappointing. If you look at the players, they're all experienced. They've played plenty of matches. There's plenty of talent. It's just that as a group, they have not collectively come together to win those key matches. And today, I think will be a test for them. Like Niall mentioned, leading up to this World Cup, they haven't really come around. But yeah, it's important under Shakib. They sort of show that yes, you need to come out there and win, and this is an opportunity for them.
I mean, things changed after that Asia Cup, right? It was quite damning on Bangladesh that they couldn't qualify for the Super Fours, and as a result, they've lost a couple of key players. Mahmudullah was leading this team; he's gone. Mushfiqur Rahim has retired from the format. Shakib has come back and taken the reins as T20I captain, but it's a different looking side. We'll go to the 11s now. It's their first game, remember, in this ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Now, Soumya Sarkar and Najmul Hussain Shanto, they're Liton Das. They'll probably be interesting to see what the 1-2-3 is in that regard. Shakib Al Hasan, Afif Hussain was excellent. Lots of left-hand batters in the Bangladesh top 5. They've gone with Yasir Ali and Nurul Hassan. Mosaddak, who was such a big part of this side in the Asia Cup. Taskin Ahmed, Mustafizur Rahman and Hassan Mahmood will take the bowling responsibilities. So no Ibadat Hussain, who bowled with some pace not too long ago in the Asia Cup. That's the team they've gone with. Niall, you follow a lot of these Bangladeshi players through the course of the BPL. It's a different looking side, a lot of experience that they've done away with. What do you make with the 11 that they've gone with?
Well, their best batter is Liton Das. He is by far probably technically their best bat, and someone who seems to have a good head on his shoulders, whether setting a target or chasing. He's technically very sound, plays well off front and back foot, which is quite unusual actually for a Bangladeshi batter to play well off front and back foot. The real conundrum is Soumya Sarkar. He has all the ability in the world, all the talent in the world, and when you go to Bangladesh, you can guarantee when he gets to about 20 or 25, people in the commentary box and in the media start getting nervous because he's the eternal player that gets a start and gets out. So they need more from Soumya. He's been there for a long time now. He's had a lot of opportunities. He needs to deliver. They've got a decent team. Taskin Ahmed bowls good pace. He can take wickets with the new ball, and he's good at the death with his Yorkers. Even though the Fizz is a wonderful cricketer. But there's so much reliance on Shakib Al Hasan, not just from the 10 players he takes the field with, the millions of people back home, and he just needs a bit more support because Shakib is one of the best, but he needs more from his partners in crime. So let's see how it goes. They've got a good team. That's a decent 11. Bat ball field is good. Noro behind the stumps is a good cricketer. He can clear the ropes at the back end as well, but I think they're going to have to play well as a collective. It wasn't long ago that Shakib, was he captain? Was he not captain? He was called in for the he was called over for dinner, I think, with the president for chats about will you take the reins. He did take the reins, so he's in charge. But there's always a little bit of uncertainty around Bangladesh cricket, and this tournament, hopefully, the people on the pitch can do the talking.
Things change very quickly in Bangladesh cricket. It wasn't long ago that Shakib was sentenced to take time away from the game, and then he comes back to dine with the president and becomes captain of the side again. But Soumya Sarkar is an interesting point.
Yeah, I know. I think he hit the nail on the head, yes. Niall
hit the nail on the head.
Well done.
Well done. That's terrible. We're still sleep deprived after India-Pakistan.
Sorry,
yes,
man.
Anil, please.
Yeah, I mean, Soumya Sarkar is an intriguing character. When I first saw him, he resembles Yuvraj Singh in his approach to batting, and that's what I thought that he would sort of progress from where he started off. but it's been disappointing. Like Niall mentioned, he gets to those starts and then gets out, and he's such a talent. He can bowl. He's a good fielder. He can bat really well, and like he mentioned, he can sort of play off the back foot, which is probably how you get judged in international cricket.
Right for a subcontinent player.
That's right, and he stands tall and hits it really well. Times the ball really well. Left-hander, so that's the other advantage of being a batter. So he has all the credentials, but unfortunately he hasn't really performed. Maybe Shakib's leadership skills will have to come to the fore, because Bangladesh, we've seen over the years, have been a very emotional side. They take their decisions very in emotionally. I think when it comes to a World Cup, yes, they have taken the right decision to make the top player, the senior most player, as the captain. Now it's up to him and the team to sort of leave the emotions aside and then say, okay, now how can we put our heads around to get the first round going? And they have a good chance to win this game, and then from there on, play it from there.
Yeah, well, this is an important game, you think, for Shakib Al Hasan, for Bangladesh. Let's crunch some numbers here. And if you look at just how their win percentage is in recent times, in case you've not followed as much of Bangladesh's cricket outside of major tournaments, it's the lowest for a team this year at 26.6%. So struggles of the West Indies, Sri Lanka have had their share of issues too, although that's changed since the Asia Cup. In 2022, Bangladesh are the lowest when it comes to wins and losses. They won just the 4 out of 16 matches. And one of their big problems when we discuss this through the course of the Asia Cup has been the top order. The opening pair, they've had chops and changes throughout. The average is just under 14, which is the worst for any team in T20I's post last year's World Cup. Strike rate not great either. That's the sort of opening partnership they have, 37 being the highest in 19 innings. It's just a big part of any T20 side, and Bangladesh do not seem to be getting it right. They've also used 12 opening pairs, and depending on who comes out today between Shoma Sharkar and Liton Das, then that could very well be another. But 12 pairs used, which is again the most. India is at 11, but there's a reason for that. As we know, India don't play their full strength squad in every series or every T20I game, so that's an availability issue. In Bangladesh's case, it's a lot of selection changes based on form. I guess that tells you that those graphics almost explain each other, Anil. If your top two aren't settled, you're not going to win a lot of games.
No, you're not, because especially leading up to a World Cup, generally when you're preparing for a world event, you sort of say, okay, 6 months prior to that tournament, this is the best possible squad, and these are the players that one needs to sort of identify and say, okay, you need to play together. Leading up to the World Cup for you to be successful in a World Cup. You can't just have a new combination coming up in a World Cup and saying, okay, we have this 15 players, now you open, and then next game, okay, you don't perform, somebody else opens. You can't keep chopping and changing like that leading up to a World Cup. And I think, like I said, emotional decisions have happened in Bangladesh. It's about time that they came together, and hopefully whichever combination walks out there, Bangladesh need a good start because they're batting first.
All right, now we're going to also focus on two of their senior players here, right? Shakib first and then Mustafizur Rahman. Shakib Al Hasan, such a wonderful player in certainly the ODI and the Test format. This is perhaps the one format where you're still trying to see if Shakib is an all-format great. Niall, I wonder if that's a fair thing to say. We have no doubt about Shakib's brilliance. He was standout player in the last ODI World Cup we had in England. This format though, and I'm just going to bring up numbers one by one in a bit, but this format, do you see Shakib as the force that he is in others in T20s as well?
Fair, and I'll give you a couple of kind of snippets of why I believe that. I've played with Shakib in Bangladesh and the UK. When he bowls, opposition teams know how dangerous he is, so they just pat him back. A little bit like teams are starting to try and do against Rashid Khan now from Afghanistan. They're trying to say he's their best bowler, give him 4 overs, even if he only goes for 18 or 20, don't give him wickets. So he's probably not picking up, Shakib, as many wickets as we might expect. But I still believe he's a great T20 player because he can clear the ropes. I just feel what's maybe hindering him a little bit is the expectation and weight of the world almost, of Bangladesh on his shoulders, because every time he walks out of bat, he knows he has to get runs. And anytime he gets a ball in hand, he knows he has to get wickets. So I think he's a multi-format great for Bangladesh. I think he's an outstanding cricketer. with a brilliant cricket brain. I'm not sure people kind of really realise how good a cricket brain he has. But he is an emotional character as well. He's one of those people that wears his heart on his sleeve. And as captain, you've got to leave that emotion almost on the sideline. When you take the field, you just got to lead by example and not let the emotion of the contest get the better of you. Because that's, if you're a little bit up and down emotionally, whether it be with somebody misfielding the ball or if someone bowls a bad over at the other end, you've got to park that. You've got to stay level. Because if you're a little bit on edge, the other 10 blokes are on edge, and then the dugout's on edge, the captain or the coaches are on edge, and all the fans back home are on edge, and all of a sudden the whole of Bangladesh is on edge. So I think for Shaki, I think he's a multi-format, top-class player, all format, bat ball, good leader. And if Bangladesh are going to get wins in this tournament and get to the semi-finals, which is going to be difficult, he's going to have another tournament like he had in 2019 in the UK when he was sensational at the 50 over World Cup.
That he was, and he is in good form. If you look at his numbers in 2022, Shakib Al Hasan has significantly improved as far as his personal numbers go. If you look at his track record over the years, he's averaging 27, the most he's averaged in the last 4 to 5 years, striking at over 140. Home and away is another great stat when it comes to Shakib, because like his test record too, and for a Bangladeshi player, when they play on some difficult surfaces at home, he tends to do very well away. So he's got that average nearly twice as much as it is at home, and a strike rate of 133, goes at less than a run a ball at home. Just wonder why they don't make better surfaces in Bangladesh. Anil, but no taking away from Shakib's quality. Even in these parts of the world, he should be all right.
No, he is, because he's not a power hitter. As a batter, he hits in very unusual areas, and he uses the pace. He likes pace on the ball, and that's probably one of the reasons why his record outside of Bangladesh is far better than his record in Bangladesh. So he will be wanting the pace to be there and the ball coming onto him. That's what he does, and he doesn't have the power hitting skills, but he can certainly hit in unusual areas, and that's the advantage that he has. And as a left-hander, like Niall mentioned, he's the crux for Bangladesh in that middle order.
Yeah, he's got that big responsibility, the bat. But you think Shakib, if he's more dangerous, it's an argument can be made in this format. It's with ball. Likes to bowl in the middle overs, does a job for them, gets wickets, keeps the runs down. Between 7 to 15, he's bowled nearly 60% of his overs. His economy is less than a run a ball, and gets you enough wickets as well to make an impact in the game. That's since 2020. And if you look at Shakib's form in ICC events since the World Cup in 2014, he's a man for the big stage. Loves that 2019 World Cup, had such a stellar contribution with both bat and ball. And in ICC events, he has been very, very good since then. So this is another one that Shakib Al Hasan can add to his collection. Is it fair to say that he's a bigger threat with ball than with bat?
Yes. I think the advantage that you have of Shakib is he can bowl in any part of the 20 overs. He's bowled in power plays as a left-arm spinner, and he also gets wickets in the power play. He is very difficult to get under as a batter, and he's good bowling to left-handers as well. That's the best part. As a left-arm spinner, you sort of it's a matchup, right? A left-arm spinner bowling to a left-hander, but Shakib's record against left-handers is not bad either. So yes, his experience will count, and I think as an opposition, they'll sort of look to just go through those 4 overs without giving wickets to Shakib, and that will be the challenge.
All right. As far as the Netherlands go, let's give them some time and some love, shall we? There's a lot to like about the Netherlands. They always put smiles on faces when they manage to slay some giants. I remember that England game so fondly from 2009. It was great fun watching the Dutch, and it would be fun watching them get a few points in the Super 12s as well. They had to make a couple of changes. We saw how Roelof van der Merwe struggled in the last game of round 1, and they've played a teenage leggy in Shariz Ahmed, so keep an eye out on the spin duo of Shariz Ahmed, Fred Klaassen, Tim Pringle's there as well. Tim van der Hoogten is the man missing out, and in place returns Logan van Beek. That's the team that they've gone with. Keep an eye again for Basteleda, who's a key player in this side, along with the openers Max O'Dowd and Vikramjit Singh. Niall, thoughts on the changes made? We're going to see teenage leggy against Bangladesh for the first time.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll happen?
Yeah, he's a nice leg spinner too. I watched him worked on a couple of games in Amsterdam this year, and he bowled nicely. He's not a tall guy. He's got a nice googly at the back of the hand. He bowls a good googly. Predominantly bowls googlies, but he did turn a couple of big leg breaks albeit in the 50-over game. So he's a real student of the game. I spoke to Peter Boren, the ex-Netherlands captain, about him, and I saw Adil Rashid actually during that ODI series working with him in the nets out the back, which was lovely to see. Adil Rashid working with a young leg spinner. So he's a nice little bowler. Pringle's been excellent, not picking up loads of wickets, but going at a good economy rate. Klaassen, I think, is a wonderful bowler. Left armour, good skills. But really, Bas de Leede is the star man there. Obviously, son of Tim, the ex-Netherlands all-rounder and Surrey cricketer. Been signed to play in a franchise cricket this winter now, so he's going to be getting more exposure to higher level playing, higher level opportunities. So he bowls, good pace, Bas de Leede, and he can whack it. So good cricketer. Vikramjit Singh, up top, left-hander, very good against pace, not so good spin. So if Bangladesh have done their homework, they should really probably get a spinner in the action early. Max O'Dowd likes pace on the ball as well. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of spin early.
All right. You're always on the yes side of playing a young leg spinner if it comes to that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think, in a T20, we have seen the importance of a leg spinner in the playing 11. And it's great to see a young leg spinner come through. And from Netherlands, they don't get too many opportunities in international cricket. And to see Netherlands back in the World Cup is really nice. Yep. And to see a young leg spinner making his debut in a World Cup, it's wonderful to see that. And I'm really looking forward to watching him.
And we're looking forward to a Netherlands side. If they are to do well today, they need Max O'Dowd to continue the form that he has shown, but they need the others to step up as well. We'll see if he can get some support, because O'Dowd with 252 runs in the last 2 World Cups, averaging over 50, is miles ahead of anybody else. So come on, the rest of you, Colin Ackerman, Scott Edwards, Bas de Leede, Vikramjit Singh as well, need to get more than those 15-20s that you've been getting so far. Who's best suited, Niall, to support Max O'Dowd when it comes to the Dutch batting?
Well, Colin Ackerman has all the pedigree. He's played a lot of cricket in the UK for Leicestershire, lots of T20 cricket. He has to be fired. Think back in the last World Cup in the UAE, nobody in Netherlands fired apart from Max O'Dowd, but Colin Ackerman certainly didn't, and he needs to fire here. He's a good player, Colin Ackerman. He's one of these guys that plays county cricket, doesn't play for Netherlands in the summertime, so there's always a little bit of conjecture, because he comes in, plays in the off-season, in the UK off-season, but doesn't play in the UK season. So he doesn't play any home internationals for the Netherlands, which is always causes a little bit of a stir with people back in Amsterdam or Rotterdam and The Hague. They want to see their players playing 12 months a year. Whether they release period from county cricket or not, that's a different question, different conversation. So when you come in from outside, effectively, inverted commas, you have to step up, you have to perform straight away, because there's people probably on the sidelines who have been in that squad all winter and all summer for the Netherlands saying, well, hold on a minute, I've been playing all summer in the top class in the Netherlands, which is domestic cricket. I've been doing all the hard graft, and all of a sudden a bloke comes in from left field who hasn't played all summer, and then he's taken my spot. So you better deliver. And Colin Ackerman has got the ability. He's got all the technical soundness as a batter. He's powerful. He plays down the ground well. He should enjoy playing in Australia because he grew up in South Africa. But now is the time, because he's probably got one eye looking over his shoulder now, thinking, I've got to get some runs here, else I might be out.
All right, well, the game is already underway. Let's get a first innings prediction score from both Anil Kumble and Niall O'Brien. The good thing is that the weather continues to play sport in this World Cup. All those weather forecasts to interrupt games have not shown up. I hope I don't jinx it. We've got a double header at Hobart. Niall, you were there just this time last week at the Belrive Oval. And the Netherlands have done something different from Ireland. They've won the toss and they've chosen to bowl first. I think you'll endorse that decision. What do you think they need to keep Bangladesh down to be happy?
Well, I'm happy they're bowling first. I think they need anything under 155 would be an absolute result. It's a good surface. We saw yesterday, the pitch was beautiful. Netherlands have a good bowling attack. They won't want to chase much more than 155, I don't think.
It is overcast, though. Might do something, and that should keep things interesting, Anil?
Yeah, it will keep things interesting, but I'll put my neck out and then say, okay, Bangladesh is going to score 173.
Oh, wow. I got a nice, precise number. So I got 173 from Anil Kumble, about 150 odd from Niall O'Brien. let's see where this game stands at halftime. Do join us then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout.